Today we are talking about The Wolf of Snow Hollow. So The Wolf of Snow Hollow is on Tubi. It's a movie I came across, watched just kind of for something to stare at. Ended up almost impressed. And the reason I was almost impressed is, you'll see, I guess, throughout the video, but the story is pretty good. The actors are good. Director is good. The director is also the star of the show named John in the movie. And I know, right? Good name. But he obviously has issues of his own, and those become pretty apparent throughout the movie. And anyways, it's basically kind of a serial killer-ish werewolf movie, hence Mr. Wolfie Man here. Excuse me. My drink's good. Hope yours is. But the movie was made 2020. Like I said, it's on Tubi for free, so you should definitely go give it a watch if you have the time. It's decent enough. Towards the end it lags quite a bit for various reasons, but one main one. And yeah, it's just kind of one of those, like, I'll explain it later, but to me, if you take this movie and another movie, smash them together, leave out one part completely, you got two badass movies. But this is what we got, so this is what we're going to talk about. So it starts off in a bar. It's got a guy named Jimmy Tatro. I will try to include a clip of him here. But he I haven't decided what I'm doing for the background yet, so right now I'm just kind of filling it in. He's been in 22 Jump Street. He was in, what was it? Grown Ups 2. He's in a couple of football movies. Funny guy. Very dude bro kind of guy. And, basically, it starts out with him and his girlfriend in a bar on vacation. They're in the middle of nowhere. It's very much the beginning of any horror movie, you know, except instead of a gas station, we're at a bar where the creepy redneck dude is there. But instead of hitting on his girl like most of these movies do, they have him talking to his friends, and while he's talking to his friends, he uses the F word, a homophobic slur. And Jimmy takes offense to this and starts an altercation with him. The guy just ends up saying, well, one of his friends kind of breaks it up and he's like, have a good night. So anyways, it kind of ends there. He looks at his girlfriend and goes, what if my brother was here? So apparently he's got a gay brother, but we're never given any other details about this brother, and they even go to his house later in the movie and they show his mom but not his brother. So I'm not sure what the point of that whole thing was, but I guess to show maybe he's a good guy. I don't know. But anyways, from the diner they go to their cabin that they rented. They're in the hot tub, and he gets out to get a shower. While he's doing that, he hears her kind of scream-ish. So he comes out, and she is completely obliterated. And then, sorry, my allergies are acting up. This weather's been killing me. But, yeah, basically she was just ripped to pieces. He freaks out, obviously calls the police, and, from there, we're introduced to John. John is a deputy, I guess. He's a policeman of some sort. His dad is the sheriff. But his dad has super bad health, so they're like babying his dad. Find out later that it's heart problems. There's going to be a lot of spoilers here, so if you're going to watch it, go watch it first and come back for my review. If not, enjoy my review. But he's got heart problems, so they all baby him. They're trying to not let him really get involved. And yeah, you find out pretty quick that John is an alcoholic and has anger issues. So that's a big reason that we get the comedy gold that we do. And this is rated a comedy horror. And the beginning of it, even towards the middle, is very much comedy horror. And then they go a little too deep into the weeds with the alcoholism for no reason, like it serves really no purpose. But it's a very isolated area. And very snowy, mountainy area. So if they need any help or anything, obviously it's gonna be a while. But at the crime scene investigation, it's revealed that her genitalia is missing. Like, her body's there, she was torn apart, but that's missing. And the sheriff is trying to control the situation, but he gets ushered off very quickly by John and some of the other police officers. And so anyways, Ricky Lindholm is another one of the cops. She's been in Wednesday. She was one of Sheldon's, I want to say she was like obsessed with him. He didn't want anything to do with her girlfriends. But she was in Big Bang Theory. Very kind of awkward actress, like the actor that plays Sheldon. And she has a few awkward scenes questioning people, including the guy that did the homophobic slur, and it was a whole weird thing with his phone, and yeah, it's awkward, because she's awkward, but it fits. And from there, it just kind of moves on to a diner scene that has all the cops, and they're all sitting around table eating breakfast, I guess. And all the cops but John are just like, let the feds handle it. And John's like, no, it's our job. And they're just like, is it really though? And I mean, kind of get it. I don't like my job much either, so there's that. But anyways, for some reason they get into some wife bashing scenarios during this whole diner scene. Wasn't really sure why till later, but there's a few comments about, well, you guys are the ones that told me to get married, and they're like, no, we told you not to, you're stupid, and yeah, my wife would have done that because she's a dumbass type of stuff. It just kind of is out of place at the moment. It does kind of make sense later, but for now you're just kind of like, what the hell? And yeah, it's just very awkward. And one of the cops says it's probably just the boyfriend or somebody trying to make it look like a serial killer, but it's really not. It's just one of these random people that I assume it is. And they're just trying to make it look like a serial killer. And another one responds with, well, why'd they take her parts? You know, her parts. If they weren't a serial killer or whatever. And they were like, I don't know, maybe to eat them, or maybe to make a fleshlight out of them. Like, it's very kind of crude at the moment, but it's a very awkward scene that they put into the movie for no reason. And then it cuts to a woman teaching a ski class, and she like berates a small child for no reason. And everybody's like, ooh, burn, all of his friends. Like, it's very awkward. Like, she has no reason to be an asshole to a little kid, but she does anyways. So, not really sure where that came from. But after the ski lesson that she gives them, they or eating lunch or breakfast. I don't really know what. But they're at a diner again, or at the ski lodge, I guess, this time. The diner is big in this movie. But she gives a very awkward look to the camera, like directly into the camera, like, oh, I know you. And then it cuts from that to her telling her friend, I'm going to be gone. And she's like, where you going? Oh, you know, my ex-boyfriend, whatever the hell his name is, Josh or something, is in town and wants me to hang out. And it's a whole big ordeal. But it kind of leaves you to assume he's the killer. But you never really get to see if he's the killer. You just kind of are left to assume after what happens next. And this is where it gets weird. They start mixing the everyday scenes of John going around town doing his normal shit to the murder in between the scenes. So it's like the murder's happening at the same time, but the scenes that you're watching are the next day. So it gets kind of odd in that aspect. And then for the first murder scene, John is, you guessed it, at a diner. And he's meeting his wife and daughter there. And his wife is just the biggest pain from what we're shown in the ass to ever live. There's a word for people like her that start with the letter C, but I'm not going to use it. And from there you kind of get an idea of John's temper, because he kind of goes off on her, which, don't get me wrong, is well deserved when it happens. God damn it. So it's just kind of one of those things. That you just kind of deal with, I guess. But you can definitely tell his temper is flaring. He's very outspoken, loud in the restaurant. It's not over the top, but could easily get there. And with the ski teacher, we get a good look at the werewolf at this point, and looks really cool. It's kind of standing there in the snow. Got a streak of blood from him to the girl crawling away from him. Pretty neat looking, but okay, so from there we are treated to John yelling at everybody to get stuff done, and them just being the most annoying, incompetent assholes they could be. It's it's quite amazing. And he's very angry, a lot of yelling, and at one point there's a news van that comes in to the crime scene. He yells at him to get him out, and one of the guys is trying to tell him something. He's like, "What?" He yells, "What?" And yells again that it's wolf bites that killed her. And the news van is still there, and they're just kind of like, "We got our story," and slowly back up. And so he takes the cop out into the woods and kicks his ass. It's, well, you're left to assume that he kicks his ass, because later on, during the next morning meeting, he's got a busted lip, and he's got a gift basket for John. John's like, "Thanks, and you're fired. Maybe you could go work for WikiLeaks." It's an amazing scene. But throughout that point, they're going back and forth between scenes that really are kind of awkward, because it's like the crime scene, him yelling at people and freaking out, and then it cuts to him at the funeral of the person that died and stuff like that. So it gets kind of very awkward and weird. And yeah, it's just one of those things that's awkward enough to almost be funny, but not quite be funny. But his anger and the scenes where he's going back and forth with his deputies are amazing. He gets so angry, it's so funny. And each time it's like they're little kids, and even at the scene where they're at the meeting the next day, they start talking werewolves, and they even leave a Teen Wolf joke on the table for no reason, really, just because. And from there, you're treated to a scene where throughout the movie they've been showing this scene of John staring at the microwave. Well, in the shelves above the microwave, there are hidden beers that he apparently hid there from himself a time ago. But if you know they're there, are they really hidden? But whatever. And he ends up starting to drink again, because all of the funerals and crime scene investigations and everything are stressing him out, between that and his dad being sick. And he just kind of says fuck it and starts drinking again. And from there, we're given a look at John's parenting skills, which are very lackluster, I guess you could say. He just kind of yells at or gets onto his daughter, gives her some stuff for self-defense. And it becomes obvious by this point that John doesn't want to catch the killer, but kill him. And then we're treated to, guess what? Another diner scene. Aren't you guys excited for the diner scenes? Like we haven't had enough diner scenes yet? Like we get it, it's a small town, there's nothing but a diner. And at this one, there's a lady with a child. And there's a guy that starts talking to her. You see him from kind of the waist down come in. And he's asking her a bunch of weird questions like, hey, noticed you came here in a blue car. How do you like that blue car? And she's like, what the fuck? Because anybody with any common sense would be like, what the fuck? And it's a questionable bunch of people that go over his dad's health and stress. And they end up determining that it's a heart murmur. So John's extra stressed now and wants his dad to leave stuff alone. And the dad's like, oh, I want to be involved. I ain't dead yet, type of thing. Do I want to do more black or not? You tell me. Yeah, I guess I do. And the lady from the diner is later driving with her child and comes across a dead deer just splayed out in the middle of the road. She goes up to it. It's got like a handprint on it. A bloody handprint. Like a human hand. So she decides to move it. As soon as she grabs a hold of it, she looks up and sees the werewolf over by her car, pretty much about to snatch her kid. Kills her, kills a kid, the whole nine. And this is where the movie kind of takes a deep dive into the alcoholism aspect of it. And that's when it kind of quits being funny. Like, it's very much funny because everybody's like, it's a werewolf. And he's like, fuck you. It's, but then it just kind of goes left here with this kind of deep introspective look on it. I don't know, it's just weird. Like, there was no real reason to add it to it, much less spend so much time on it. And like at one point his daughter's like dragging him upstairs because he's too drunk to go to bed. He like breaks his oven door because he falls on it because he's drunk. It's just very pointless. And throughout all this, they're showing like this meth head that burned alive, or not burned alive, but burned a body on his land, and he lives in a trailer out in the middle of nowhere, and he's got a wolf tattoo on his arm. Go figure, right? You would totally expect that to be the guy. But eventually he ODs, and they're like, oh, he's dead. Killer's caught. Movie over. But obviously the meth head had nothing to do with anything other than he probably just didn't want people on his land. So he found this body and decided to burn it. But they take it as he's caught, we're done, movie over. So John starts going around taking everybody their evidence that they had back. And some of that's pretty comical. He gets spit on a couple of times. Stuff like that. But for the most part, it's pretty just kind of awkward. And John gets to this one guy's house, and it's a taxidermy place. And one of the cops realizes that he is the killer because they found some taxidermy thing in his stuff. Anyways, it's very convoluted and just awkward. The lady cop comes. The guy puts on a wolf homemade costume, and they run out to the forest. The cop's stabbed at one point, and he ends up shooting the guy's face into the ground, which is what the boyfriend wanted him to do at the beginning. It's, like I said, very convoluted, awkward, funny, but just weird. And from there, it pretty much ends. The daughter goes on to college. The dad's, John's still alive. He's trying to be a dad now. Like, it's just kind of one of those cheesy, happy endings. But here's my thing. If you take the main actor out of this movie, switch him with Adam Driver, which I don't know if any of you have ever watched any of Adam Driver when he's angry, but it's the best. He is great at being an angry person, and I think he would be better in this role. You could replace the lady cop with Bill Murray and do a Dead Don't Die in this movie, where it's all comedy. Leave out the alcoholism and the hour of whining about alcoholism, and it would have been a fantastic movie. At the same time, if you were to take the aliens out of The Dead Don't Die, which had Bill Murray and Adam Driver in it, and put them in this movie, it would have made it, also leaving the alcoholism out, it would have made it a much better movie. Instead of just being a dude in a suit that he taxidermied himself. It was a very kind of cheesy, especially after already seeing the werewolf, you're like, oh, sweet, this is cool. No. It's not, and it pisses you off. So, anyways, that's where we're at with this movie. If you would just take two, smash them together, would have made a much better movie. But here we are. I'm going to finish this up. This is going to be a giveaway. I will try to get this finished by tomorrow and use it as a thumbnail for this video. And we will try to give this thing away. So, like, comment, share, make sure you're subscribed, and then comment done at the end of this video, and you will be entered into the drawing. I'm going to give this one probably about a week, maybe a little more, and then I will be giving it away. But I will have it signed, Happy New Year, and ready to go. So anyways, appreciate you guys for watching, and yeah, just keep doing so. I love it. Thanks, guys.